Joseph could not hold back his tears anymore. His heart was too full. Judah had spoken with love. Benjamin was safe. The brothers had not run away. Joseph saw that God had been working in their hearts. So Joseph said to his servants, "Everyone, leave me." The servants quietly went out. Only Joseph and his brothers remained in the room. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Joseph began to cry. He cried so loudly that the people in the house could hear him. His brothers looked at him with fear and wonder. They did not understand what was happening. Then Joseph said the words he had carried in his heart for many years. "I am Joseph." The brothers froze. Joseph? Could this powerful ruler really be their brother? The brother they had sold long ago? The brother they thought they would never see again? Joseph looked at their frightened faces and asked softly, "Is my father still alive?" But his brothers could not answer. They were too afraid. They remembered what they had done. They remembered the pit. They remembered the silver. They remembered Joseph's cries from long ago. Now Joseph stood before them, dressed like a ruler of Egypt, with power over their lives. But Joseph did not speak harshly to them. He said gently, "Come near to me." Slowly the brothers came closer. Joseph looked at them with tears in his eyes. "I am Joseph, your brother," he said, "the one you sold into Egypt." The brothers' hearts were heavy, but Joseph continued with kindness. "Do not be upset with yourselves," he said. "God sent me here before you to save lives." Joseph explained that the famine would continue for more years. There would still be little food in the land, but God had made a way to protect their family. Joseph had become a ruler in Egypt so grain could be stored, people could be fed, and Jacob's family could live. What his brothers had meant for harm, God had turned into help. Joseph said, "Go quickly to my father. Tell him that I am alive. Tell him God has made me ruler in Egypt. Bring him here, so our family may be near me." Then Joseph looked at Benjamin, his younger brother, his own mother's son. Joseph wrapped his arms around Benjamin and wept. Benjamin held Joseph too, and they cried together. After that, Joseph kissed all his brothers. He wept over them, and little by little, the brothers began to speak with him. The fear in the room grew smaller. The love in the room grew stronger. News soon reached Pharaoh's house. Joseph's brothers had come. Pharaoh was pleased. He said Joseph's family should come to Egypt. They could live in the best part of the land and have food during the famine. Joseph gave his brothers wagons for the journey. He gave them clothing, supplies, and food for the road. To Benjamin he gave extra gifts. Then Joseph sent his brothers home to Canaan. Before they left, Joseph gave them a gentle reminder. Perhaps he knew their hearts still carried many feelings: surprise, joy, regret, hope. So the brothers traveled back across the dusty roads. This time their sacks were full. Their wagons rolled behind them. But the greatest news they carried was not grain or gifts. It was this: Joseph was alive. At last, they reached their father Jacob. They hurried to him and said, "Joseph is still alive. He is ruler over all the land of Egypt." Jacob could hardly believe it. For many years he had thought Joseph was gone. His heart felt still inside him. Could such wonderful news be true? Then Jacob saw the wagons Joseph had sent. He listened to his son's words. Slowly, hope returned to his heart. Jacob said, "It is enough. Joseph, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die." So Jacob and his family prepared to leave Canaan. They gathered their children, their animals, and all they had. The journey was long, but God was with them. One night God spoke to Jacob in a vision. "Jacob, Jacob," God called. And Jacob answered, "Here I am." God said, "Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt. I will go with you. I will make your family into a great nation there." Those words comforted Jacob. He was old now, but God had not forgotten him. God was still leading his family. At last, Jacob's family came near the land of Egypt. Joseph heard that his father was coming. He prepared his chariot and went to meet him. Can you imagine that moment? Joseph, the son who had been taken away, Jacob, the father who had cried for him. Now they were about to see each other again. When Joseph saw his father, he ran to him. He threw his arms around Jacob's neck and cried for a long time. Jacob held his son close. Joseph was alive. His beloved child was truly there. Jacob said, "Now I am ready to die, because I have seen your face and know you are still alive." But there was still more life to live. Joseph brought his family to Pharaoh. Pharaoh welcomed them kindly. Jacob and his family settled in the land of Goshen, a good place for their animals and children. There they had food, there they had shelter, there they were together. Joseph cared for his father and his brothers during the famine. He gave them what they needed. The family that had once been broken was now brought near again. Many years passed. Jacob grew very old. Before he died, he blessed his sons and spoke words over them. Then Jacob went to be with God. Joseph and his brothers mourned for their father. After Jacob was gone, the brothers became afraid again. They wondered, what if Joseph is still angry with us? What if he now pays us back for what we did? So they sent a message to Joseph. They asked him to forgive them. Then they came and bowed before him. "We are your servants," they said. Joseph began to cry. He did not want them to be afraid of him. He said, "Do not fear. Am I in the place of God?" Then Joseph spoke words full of grace. "You meant evil against me," he said, "but God meant it for good, to save many people alive." Joseph promised to care for them and their children. He comforted them. He spoke kindly to them. Joseph did not forget the pain of the past, but he trusted God with it. He chose forgiveness. He chose mercy. He chose love, and God used Joseph's life in a beautiful way. Joseph had been a boy with dreams. He had been sold by his brothers. He had worked in a strange land. He had been put in prison when he had done nothing wrong. He had waited for many years, but God was with Joseph in every place. God was with him in the pit. God was with him in Potiphar's house. God was with him in prison. God was with him in Pharaoh's palace. And God was with him when he forgave his family. Joseph lived many more years in Egypt. He saw his family grow. He saw children and grandchildren. And before his life ended, Joseph still trusted God's promise. He knew Egypt would not be the final home for God's people. One day, God would lead them back to the land he had promised. Joseph's story began with dreams. It passed through sorrow, waiting, and wonder, and it ended with forgiveness, family, and God's faithful care. So tonight, remember Joseph. When life feels confusing, God sees you. When waiting feels long, God is near. When hearts are hurt, God can bring healing. And when things seem broken, God can still work in ways we cannot yet understand. Remember Judah, who stood bravely for Benjamin. Remember Benjamin, who was protected in a strange land. Remember Jacob, whose sadness turned into joy. And remember Joseph, who forgave with a tender heart. God can bring good from hard days. God can help families come together again. God can fill hearts with peace. Now the story of Joseph comes to a gentle close. The stars shine softly over Egypt. The fields rest under the quiet sky. In the land of Goshen, Jacob's family sleeps safely. Joseph's heart is calm. His brothers are no longer strangers. Benjamin is near, and the God who watched over them all is still loving, still faithful, and still good. Sleep peacefully, little one. Good night.